And we are back, y'all, for part 2 of the Battle Royale between cleansers. We have contestants lining up from all around the world, but only one can take home the crown. In case you didn't know, I'm Rissy and I review things, and this is the second part of my mega review on cleansers. In part 1, we covered first cleansers, and appropriate for part 2, we're looking at second cleansers. Water-based foaming cleansers that are designed to sweep away the broken down leftovers of daily filth. Now, you're gonna see a lot of repeat brands here. One of the things I really like to do is, whenever possible, buy the first and second cleanser from a given brand, just so I can get the total experience. But that isn't always an option. Some brands don't necessarily make both, and I would say on average there's more second cleansers out there than there are first, so that's why we've got 28 contenders! If you haven't watched my 3-part series on cleansers, I highly recommend doing so. And let's review the rules. I have dry skin and I live in a cold, dry climate, so that means that any cleansing products that I use can't strip my skin. My skin refuses to leave its hat on. Not actually that kind of stripping. Boy, that would be a weird act. Take off your skin layer by layer. This got dark. Anyway, I also do wear makeup frequently and water-resistant sunscreens, so any cleansers that I have need to be powerful enough to get the remnants of that off of my skin without draining away my precious moisture and lipids. I also prefer for things to be as cheap as possible. So whenever there's 2 products that perform similarly, the cheaper one is always gonna win. Which of these 28 cleansers hits that perfect sweet spot between strength and gentleness? Well, let's find out! Let the battle begin! To get started with the worst of the worst, we are at least showing some consistency early on in my brand picks, because it's Clinique. That's right, number 28, the Clinique Liquid Facial Soap in Mild. And if this is mild, I can't even imagine the horrors of the strong version. Now, this cleanser is marketed as being for dry combination skin, and I do get a little bit oily in my T-zone, especially in the summer, so I figured this would be perfect. And I was completely 100% wrong. This has sodium laureth sulfate in it, but I figured, well, that's not the irritating sulfate. Again, go watch my series on cleansers. I think the second video where I talk about that, how SLS is the demon cleanser, not SLES. SLES, if formulated properly in a cleanser that's at the right pH, can be effective without irritating. This cleanser is not formulated properly. This was so ludicrously stripping, just instantaneous desert, and it also burned my eyes like a motherfucker. I could not use it up on my face, but I didn't want to use it on my body either. That's how stripping of moisture it was. I used it on my armpits only, specifically to punish it. Bad. It's a bad cleanser. Bad. In a stunning reversal of forces, number 27 is Scenic the Simple Mild Foam Cleanser. What? How can Scenic go from the top brand in the first video to near the bottom of the pack in this one? I have no idea what they were thinking when they made this, because it's not very effective and it's disgusting. It left a white, filmy residue that I can only liken to spider webs on my face and everything it touched. I'm completely mystified as to how that happened, but I do know I never want it touching my skin ever again. So disappointed. Number 26, Drunk Elephant, the best number 9 jelly cleanser. The brand is called Drunk Elephant, but the names say more like drunk Italians. Only the best cleanser, huh? This is not the best. It's not even the best of the worst for me. Much like the Clinique, this is intensely stripping. Couldn't finish it on my face, and this is just the mini size. Just dried me out like nobody's business. I couldn't even use it on my body. Another armpit only cleanser. Absolute garbaggio. And for the honored position of best of the worst, we have the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cleanser, again in the mini size. This stuff has the smell and texture of Elmer's glue. It is gross. I hated every second of using it. Ugh. I guess it gets the job done, but I could just not stand the feel of it on my face. I could not wait to get it off my skin. Kiehl's is another one of those brands I do not get the hype surrounding it. It markets itself as a very gentle formula, but trust me, I've got products that are nice and gentle that don't feel like a grade school art project on your skin. I may have dermatologists showing up at my house to set me on fire for this, but into the bad with the Vanicream Gentle Facial Cleanser. Yeah, I know this stuff is highly recommended by dermatologists for people who have sensitive skin. It just can't be people with sensitive, dry skin. This is another super stripping cleanser, and I didn't believe it. I was like, maybe I'm just hallucinating that I have dry skin. How could something that's so well recommended be drying? But it was, and I'm not the only person. Once I started digging around for reviews, I guess if you have extremely oily skin and you live in a humid climate, then this would probably work pretty well. If you have dry skin, even combination skin, I don't recommend it. It just completely stripped me dry. It's cheap, I guess there's that. It also just kind of smells off. Not a fun experience. No fun whatsoever. This was another disappointment because this comes from a brand I love, but number 23, the Hada Labo Gokujun Foaming Cleanser. Yeah, I thought this was gonna be great. It's full of hyaluronic acid. How could it not be moisturizing? I suspect the pH of this is high, much higher than 5.5, possibly like 7 or 8, maybe even as high as a 9, because for something so full of moisturizers, it dried my ass out. I am so sad. Of course, Hada Labo has been reformulating its Gokujun line, so maybe this cleanser will get an overhaul. I think the ingredient base could be good at the right pH. And if it's not the pH, I have no idea what's wrong with this shit. It's cheap, but I don't recommend it. We've got much better cheap stuff on the way. Proof that I am not, in fact, a shill for this brand. Number 22, the Aveeno Ultra Calming Hydrating Gel Cleanser. This is one of those instances where a thing is too gentle to actually be effective. This did nothing for getting gunk off of my skin. I think this has been discontinued, but it is still available out there on Amazon and whatnot, like many recently discontinued products often are, so do not buy it. It does not work. I guess if you are an angel come down from heaven and dirt doesn't really stick to your skin, this would be fine, but for anybody else, I found this to just be extremely ineffective. And finally, on the bad, we've got another disappointment from a brand I love, Purito Defense Barrier pH Cleanser. Now, as the name suggests, this has a pH of 5.5 and everything indicates that it is well formulated, except for the fact that it doesn't really clean my skin. Yeah, too gentle to work. And not only that, it's got goddamn grapefruit extract in it. Now, again, it's in cleanser form, so it's probably not going to do too much harm, but citrus extracts are not good for your skin. Yes, they can act as antioxidants. There are way better antioxidants out there. They apparently have another version, but this version has not been discontinued either, so I might pick up the new version and give it a try. But this one, if you don't wear makeup or water-resistant sunscreen and you never get dirty or greasy and your skin never gets oily, this might be okay. But for everyone else, it's crap. For the products that were simply not terrible, but not really good either, we begin with yet another controversial take, and hopefully YouTube will not have me assassinated for this, but number 20, the Crave Matcha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser. I'm so sorry. I wanted to really like this a lot because this is made by Leah Yu, a YouTuber who started her own beauty brand and has a line of very conscientiously formulated products designed to be nice and soothing on the skin. This continues the familiar tale of a product that's just too gentle to work. It feels very nice on the skin, but in a silicone way. It almost feels like you're kind of smearing a silicone primer around your face. One of the really luxurious ones. It's just not particularly effective. It's a little bit better than the cleansers that underperformed so badly they ended up in the bad section, but not by all that much. Also, it smells gross. It's got green tea in it, and I love the smell of green tea. And if you put a lot of green tea into a product, it can be a way of giving it a very pleasant, mild fragrance without adding actual fragrance. Green tea is legit good for your skin. It starts off smelling like green tea and then smells like chemicals. Burned chemicals. Sometimes things smell chemically in a good way. This is not one of those times. This product needs an overhaul, I think, both in terms of its aesthetic and its capacity as a cleanser. In a slightly better position than the previous go-round, we have the Fresh Soy Face Cleanser. Again, I do not understand why people go nuts for this stuff. Expensive, it's not that effective, and it smells like rotting vegetation, despite having a fragrant essential oil in it. Blech. It is very, very gentle and it feels nice while you're using it, but when I would wipe my skin down with toner, I'd see traces of makeup on that pad, meaning it had not gotten all the gunk off of my skin. Its status as a cult product continues to baffle me. Hailing from England, number 18, the Freederm Sensitive Face Wash. The name makes me think of the song Freebird. I'm as free as a derm now, and this derm you cannot change. Anyway, this is a cleanser that's got niacinamide in it and is supposed to be really good at dealing with acne. I purchased this while I was enduring some breakouts, figuring like, fuck yeah, we'll see how the British do things. This does not do anything for acne. Otherwise, it's just kind of a basic gel to foam lathering cleanser. It just does not do the one thing it promised to do, for which I give it very low marks. Also, hilariously enough, it says it's formulated for spot-prone skin, and initially I was like, is this a cleanser that's actually meant to deal with hyperpigmentation? No, in England instead of zits they say spots. That's adorable. Too bad this didn't really do much for me. I guess it is cheap, and it's pink colored, so that's kind of fun. Number 17, the Your Good Skin Revitalizing Facial Wash. This is another British brand, very inexpensive, and it's not bad. It will get the job done. Why is it so far down in the meh heap? Well, it does the thing that really annoys me. Promises a lot of great ingredients, let's see, specifically green tea and vitamin C. The green tea extract is literally the last ingredient. Probably not doing very much, and of course the vitamin C not doing all that much either. I hate it when products advertise themselves that way. Otherwise, I like the fact that it's got a pump, which can make a gentle cleanser foam up really nicely, and I do love bubbles. It also is one of those ones that just does not smell good. So while overall it's a pretty decent cleanser, it's got some serious issues that made me just really not like it. Perhaps a sprinkle of spice for the meh section? At number 16, it's the CeraVe Foaming Cleanser. Ooh, yeah. It's another one of those dermatologists are gonna kill me for saying this, but I just didn't really like this all that much. It works fine as a body cleanser, and you get a ton of it, and it's not very expensive. It was just a bit much for my skin in terms of its cleansing power to gentleness. It was ever so slightly stripping, and I didn't like the feel of it very much. It's hard to describe. I didn't jive with the texture at all. It does not spark joy for me. There's something very dour and joyless about this cleanser, and I'm just, meh. If your skin is oily though, you might give this one a try, especially since you get so much and it's cheap, and if it doesn't agree with your face, it'll probably be fine on your body. Number 15, the Etude House Soon Jung pH 5.5 Cleanser. This surprised me. I have enjoyed products from the Soon Jung line before, and I thought that this was going to be basically perfect. It's at the perfect pH, it seemed to have a nice blend of gentle surfactants, but I just didn't like it. I didn't find it to be the most effective. It does a decent job. It's not a complete failure in that regard. I don't like the way it smells. I didn't like the way it felt on my skin. It was a little bit drying on me, and that was a big surprise after, well, you'll see in future ratings and I will explain more, but for now, I must keep my secrets. And rounding out the category, we have the Isntree Sensitive Balancing Bubble Foam. This is another kind of disappointing product from a line I really like. I love a lot of Isntree products, and this just did not measure up. Now, this one, unlike the cleansing oil, hasn't been discontinued. They have several different cleansers out there, and if they were advertised as being really gentle, they were not at a low pH, and if they were at a low pH, they had some ingredients that I didn't like, and this one I was like, oh, it's at a low pH, it's got my favorite thing in the world, which is a pump to make bubbles out of gentle cleansers, because of course some of the gentle surfactants don't always foam up all that well, but it was just not that great. It's the best of the meh. It will get the job done. I just did not find it a particularly enjoyable experience, mostly because of the smell. The smell was just off in a way that I'm coming to associate with fragrance-free cleansers, but that doesn't have to be the way of it. Something to keep in mind as we press ever forward. Also, the foam was a little flimsy. I like nice, dense, bubbly foam. Yeah, overall, just kind of a disappointment. Less high. We are now in the range of products that I consider good enough to recommend to someone that I don't hate. Coming in at number 13, we have the Kao brand foaming face wash. This one is not bad. It's very cheap and it is effective. It's not quite as moisturizing or gentle as I thought it would be. Again, I don't know the pH on this one, so maybe it's on the higher side, but it was not stripping. I love this packaging. It's very, very cute. It's not the best, but in a pinch, it absolutely will work, and it's so, so, so cheap. Number 12. The Cote, or Cote, I am not sure how to pronounce this, face wash. This stuff is wonderful. It's made by a sake brewing company and does have sake in it, and it has that lovely sake smell. It produces this very rich, dense foam. It feels delightful on the skin, rinses nice and clean, is not stripping, even in the heart of a Canadian winter on my dry ass skin. So why is it so comparatively low on the rankings? Because it is basically impossible to get your hands on outside of Japan. There used to be a couple of places that sold it and shipped worldwide, but not anymore. I beg you, Cote, make this more accessible. The world needs this stuff. This is like a really joy-sparking, feast for the senses kind of experience. It is on the pricey side, but I think that it's worth it. Also, is this not like the most beautiful packaging? I love this color of blue. I really adored this. It just sucks that you can't get your hands on it. This one is a classic for a reason, the CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser. I like this one so much more than the foaming one. It does exactly what it says. It's gonna clean effectively, but in a really gentle way that is unlikely to irritate your skin. If you have just super reactive skin, if you have rosacea or your moisture barrier is damaged, this is an excellent choice for dealing with that. I've used this to wash a really strong chemical peel off of my face. It does a great job with that. So again, in any kind of like 911, my skin is destroyed emergency, this one comes in clutch. My only problem with it is that it feels like literally washing your face with lotion. Not, for me, the best sensory experience. It just feels so counterintuitive, but it rinses pretty clean. This is a good product. It's also not that expensive, and you get a ton of it. Do recommend. Secrets are being revealed at last. At number 10, the Etude House Soon Jung pH 6.5 Foaming Whip Cleanser. I love this one so much more than the 5.5, and I shouldn't. The fact that this one has a pH of 6.5 means that it should have been a lot more drying and stripping on my skin, and yet it was not. I have heard people with dry skin say they found this to be stripping. I didn't at all. I loved it. It left my skin clean and moisturized. Now, some of that is probably because I work really hard at taking care of my moisture barriers. That might be why this worked so well for me and did not dry out my skin. So just something to consider if you think about buying this. Also, I love it that you can get it as a pump to make those gentle surfactants really foam up. This is cheap, and this is just the mini size. It's a bargain and quite an effective one at that. Yet another cleanser that was supposed to be stripping and I did not find stripping in the least, the COSRX Good Morning Low pH Gel Cleanser. A lot of people have said that this was too harsh for their skin. If you react badly to tea tree oil, definitely skip this because it has quite a bit in there. It smells very strongly of tea tree oil, a scent that I actually like quite a bit. And I could see how this could maybe be a bit harsh if your skin is dry or super reactive. I didn't find it to be drying though. I think it also helped clear up some acne. For that reason, I would recommend, unless you have super sensitive reactive skin. Because I work so hard at maintaining my moisture barrier and my acid mantle, this did not dry me out. But if you're having problems with a damaged skin barrier, I would avoid this. Pretty darn good though. And I love how cheerful it is. It's like, good morning, even though I never used this for a morning cleanse, but still, I appreciate the attitude. Coming in at number 8, the Purito From Green Deep Foaming Cleanser. This one is really nice. It's so much better than the other Purito cleanser that I just reviewed. This is like its sexy older sister. It's not too gentle, but it's also not stripping. It also doesn't have any annoying citrus extract in it. Absolutely stellar ingredients, nice blend of gentle surfactants. My only problem is the packaging kind of sucks. This lid won't close, and this happened almost immediately. It was very awkward trying to keep it shut. And that made me worry about like, well, how much air is getting into this product and spoiling it. So Purito, fix your fucking packaging issues, but otherwise, this is a winner. And last up, in the good category, we have the Kose Soft Emo Hyaluronic Acid Face Wash. Packaging is kind of a hoot. It's just so in your face and colorful. It's got that pump, which I love. I found this stuff to be both effective and nice and gentle. It produces a pretty good foam, not the best foam, but pretty good, and it does not smell that weird for an unfragranced cleanser. It's good, but not great. However, if you are looking for something super cheap from Japan, this one will absolutely get the job done. Much like the Kose cleansing oil, it's refillable. How cool is that? We are now into the great products that I just unreservedly would recommend to pretty much anybody. Starting off with number 6, the Fonsel Facial Cleanser. This is another product that is formulated specifically for very sensitive reactive skin so sensitive that it can't handle even low amounts of preservatives. You have to use it up pretty quickly, but using it is a delight. This produces some of the most dense, luxurious foam that I've ever experienced. It's quite lovely, and I did not find that it lacked effectiveness, even though it's incredibly gentle. My only issue with it is a little on the pricey side, but I think that it's absolutely worth it. Also, this packaging, I just love this color of blue. And of course, it's got a pump. Pumps on foaming cleansers just make them so much more fun to use. Definitely check this one out if you have really sensitive skin, but you don't want to short yourself on a great cleansing experience. The king is dead, long live the king. The Aveeno Calm and Restore Nourishing Oat Cleanser. God, I love this stuff. It does not foam. That keeps it out of the top 3 spots because I do prefer a cleanser with bubbles. But this is very effective and so gentle. It sweeps away all the gross stuff and leaves behind a wonderful layer of moisture that's not filmy or sticky at all. Because it has oat in it, it smells delightful. It also has Paloxamer 188 in it. If you've seen my series on cleansers, you know paloxamers are some next generation surfactants that are just absolutely wonderful for your skin. They can help you fight acne and heal wounds. If your skin has been damaged in some way, definitely check this out. I just unabashedly loved it, and it's so good at cleaning off gunk that I've actually been using it as a body wash. It just blasts away nasty, stinky gunk. So I have used this one also on my armpits as well as my face and found it works just as well there. It's also pretty inexpensive and you get a goodly amount, and it has a pump even though there's no bubbles. Definitely recommend. So great for pretty much anybody's skin. Number 4, the Heimish All Clean Green Foam. After my experience with the Heimish All Clean Balm, I was prepared for further disappointment, and I was very pleasantly surprised instead. This is a great cleanser, and this is just the mini size, but it lasted for like a month. So if you get the full size, be prepared, like it'll last you a while, and it makes a great bargain. This is just a very no fuss, no muss kind of cleanser. It's effective, but it's gentle. It specifies that it's got a pH of 5.5, so that's wonderful, and it has a really pleasant botanical smell. To me, it smells kind of like green bell peppers. I really enjoyed using it. It's a lot easier to maintain your skincare routine when the products actually bring you joy. Cheap, effective, gentle, smells great. The Heimish All Clean gets an all clear from me. We are in the top 3, y'all. These are the greats of the greats. And number 3, in a stunning turnaround from the previous battle, we have the Paula's Choice Perfectly Balanced Foaming Cleanser. Now, obviously, this is just the mini size. After my experience with the horrors of the Perfect Oil Cleanser, I didn't want to take a chance on buying the full size of this, and I kind of wish I had because, oh god, this is so good. This is what the CeraVe Foaming Cleanser wishes it was, but the price is actually not much higher. This is great. I found it to be incredibly thorough, but also nice and moisturizing. It does have ceramides in it. It's got just so much goodness without being pricey. Absolute recommend. And I do love it, of course, that it has a travel size. Extremely convenient. Number 2, or is it? The Round Lab Docto Cleanser. Round Lab is a really popular, pretty new Korean brand. This cleanser is just a delight. You have to fiddle with it a little bit to find the perfect amount to use, but when you do, it just perfectly hits that sweet spot of effective cleansing versus gentleness and leaving some moisture behind while rinsing clean. Also, it smells nice. Probably because it's got so many moisturizers in it, a lot of really good humectants are sugar-based, and it can lend the product a kind of sweet neat smell that masks any of the kind of underlying funk that so many fragrance-free cleansers seem to have. It might seem expensive depending on where you buy it, but usually you could get it on sale for half price. I think I spent $10 on it, and you get a ton. It lasts a long time, and it is wonderful. This is just an all-round win. I imagine this is probably great on just about any skin type. I absolutely do recommend this. But what about number 1? The Simple Kind to Skin Foaming Cleanser. God, how I loved this. And yes, loved in the past tense. Let me explain. This is the number 1 cleanser. It has absolutely everything that I want and nothing that I don't. It's got a very simple ingredients list. I think less than 15 ingredients total, so if you're a person who cares about that, this would have been great for you. It's also got a lot of glycerin in it. While I loved the foam and it was extremely effective, it also was very moisturizing, but rinsed clean, and that glycerin made it smell nice. It was perfect. Absolutely fucking perfect. There's also the fact that it's like $10 or less. So cheap, so good, but they reformulated it. Here is the reality TV show last minute plot twist. This is now disqualified. Y'all, it's so sad. They took out good stuff and they added fucking geranium oil. Ugh. Why couldn't they just add synthetic fragrance to it? Why a gross ass full of allergens essential oil to my perfect, beautiful cleanser and methyl isothiazinolone, which is like the nastiest preservative on earth. It is well known to cause allergies. It is bad for your skin. Why would they put that in there? This did not need to be changed. I'm so freaking pissed, and I swear to you, I swear it like Batman, that if I ever get my own skincare brand, I am resurrecting this cleanser in this most perfect form. Because as good as all the other stuff in the great category was, none of it could touch this for just effectiveness, moisturizing, rinsing clean, smelling great, and having a wonderful foam. Since this can no longer fulfill its duties as beauty queen, that means number 2, the Round Lab cleanser, moves from first runner-up into the number 1 spot. But what about the giveaway? Well, I'm glad you asked, friends. The reformulation of the Simple cleanser happened pretty recently, and they didn't really announce it, which is why I'm so glad that I went and looked at the ingredients on the newer version, because the packaging is slightly different now. But I had already purchased one for giveaway purposes, and it is the original formula I checked. So what you're getting in this giveaway is not 1, not 2, but 3 products. That's right, you're going to get the Scenic Cleansing Oil that I love so much. You're gonna get the Round Lab Docto Cleanser, and you're getting probably the last tube of the original perfect formula of my precious, now dead, Simple Kind to Skin Foaming Cleanser. Think of it as like eating the last of an endangered species. A bit of a bummer ending, but that Round Lab cleanser is nothing to sneeze at, and you can judge for yourself if you win. How to win? This is an international giveaway. It does not matter where you live in the world. I will find a way to get this into your hot little hands. If I have to charter a helicopter somewhere, I will do it. Here are the rules. Underneath this video, comment #filth. The giveaway is gonna last for 7 days from the posting of this video, and at the end of that time, one winner will be picked at random and immediately notified. There's so much goodness in this winning bundle. The full set of giveaway rules will be in the box down below, as well as links to the winning products so that you can buy them if you don't win them. So what have we learned? A lot about cleansing and about how just sometimes companies do shit for no goddamn good reason. I hope you're happy, Simple. Ah, well, there's always more cleansers to test. Until next time, clean work makes the dream work. No, that didn't work at all. Oh, that's terrible. Anyway, bye, y'all!